Afternoon everyone, and welcome to a quick update for JobKeeper this afternoon for sole traders and employees. Basically, last night we did an extended movie version for everybody, and today I just thought I'd give you a quick update on the sole trader situation. We're still getting a lot of confusion by clients and bookkeepers and other people out there, so I thought I'd just share with you what we know, so that hopefully you can go ahead and apply for JobKeeper. Obviously, we give you the disclaimer, presentations of general nature. JobKeeper is an evolving piece of legislation, and so we'll make every effort to make sure it's accurate. Please seek professional advice for your circumstances. The JobKeeper legislation is changing. The ATO is constantly updating various bits of the legislation and the rulings and the advice, so obviously it's worth pursuing if you have a specific issue that you need to get some professional advice on. Other than that, we'll try and give you some advice on how JobKeeper works in your situation. Okay, JobKeeper, it was announced it's stage 3 stimulus, probably one of the biggest events in tax history since the introduction of GST. It commenced on the 30th of March when it was concept announced by ScoMo. There's been a lot of ongoing commentary, variations, and interpretations, and also misunderstandings. So settle in for the premiere as we walk through the history of JobKeeper for you as a sole trader. Okay, okay, for sole traders, a slightly different approach to that of being an employee of a business. So we're not going to focus today on JobKeeper for businesses. We're basically looking at sole traders, family trusts that have no mum and dad working in the business but actually not taking a wage, companies and partnerships. Importantly, things to note that in this situation, the sole trader will only have one participant. Also, trusts, companies and individuals, trusts, companies and partnerships also can only nominate one individual. Further, the eligible business will then nominate the individual where all the relevant conditions are set. So JobKeeper is obviously, we won't go through the mechanics this afternoon, but you need to prove that there's been a downturn in your business. And we'll probably talk about that a little bit later. So in your case as a sole trader or as a partnership or trust, it's got to be at least 30% for a small business. The business must have had an ABN on or before the 12th of March, and it must have had assessable income in the 2019 year, which is included in the tax return lodged on or before the 12th of March. Or in the case of those that come through a tax agent like myself, it's the commission will allow a later date. There also must be a supply between July 2018 and March 2020. So we're looking at BASs lodged or some other sort of evidence. Okay, so small business, which is what we're talking about today, must get it right, otherwise you'll pay a price. So the tax office are definitely out there looking at people. So so do it right and make sure that there has been a definite downturn. If there hasn't been a downturn this month, wait till next month and see how you go then. Getting it wrong, you'll certainly pay a price. Okay, the turnover. Does a business have to meet the decline in the turnover test on an ongoing basis? So basically, this little slide outlined that no, there's no requirement to retest. Once you have passed that particular test month, that's it. You need to demonstrate that there's been a definite adverse effect, and you must show that there's a decline of turnover. Only needs to be satisfied once, whether that's a quarter or a monthly basis. Warning, be careful if you're trying to manufacture a decline. Okay, now yesterday the commissioner came out and said we're going to actually issue an alternative test. So this is pretty much off the press yesterday, and it's for the following situations: startup businesses, businesses that have experienced a disposal or acquisition or restructure, an entity which has had a substantial increase in turnover for COVID-19, and an entity impacted by drought or some other natural disaster, or one that has irregular turnover, or a trader or sole partnership. Small partnership impact by sickness. So obviously there's a complete legislative instrument and explanatory statement. So if you're in that situation, reach out to us and we'll see if we can get you through. Right. Okay, you only need one test period, but for this reason, it's extremely important that you be able to substantiate and prove that you met the condition at the relevant time. It's not enough to just say that you're out there and yes, I've had a downturn. You must also show things like a true sales reduction, a decrease in bookings, a reduction in cash, slow down in the number of customers, and that sort of stuff. I think that was ScoMo just ringing in. Okay. You cannot claim for the following employees. So if you weren't employed for the 1st of March, if you resigned your employment before the 1st of March, so we're talking employees here. If you've been agreed or been nominated by another employee, you can only have one, and casual employees that haven't been working in 12 months are not entitled to JobKeeper, unfortunately. So sole traders and partnerships and trusts still have to go through the participation to show that the exact, the business has been travelling for at least a reasonable period. Okay, quickly, here's how JobKeeper works, the simple version. Determine if your business is eligible. We're not going to worry about employees today because we're assuming there's only going to be one in this case, which will be the trustee director, the partner. If there's more than one, then that's bad luck, or yourself as a sole trader. You don't have to pay the $1,500, so we'll skip that one. We're going to move straight to the registration for JobKeeper. We'll wait for the reimbursement from the ATO. We'll then notify employees of your scheme, so you don't have to worry about that because it's just you, and then we report to the tax on a fortnightly basis. Keep all your payroll system up to date and make sure that your system it will extend through the 28th. So these last two, payroll, I just realised, this won't be applicable for sole traders. Okay. So we have until the 26th of April for the first period to register, and then the next period is the 11th of May, and then on we go. So obviously, if you're an employee, your employer must have paid the $1,500 for that period of April to be applicable for April. Now, it is an employer's choice as to where they go on JobKeeper, and it's also, if they do go on JobKeeper, then they've got to obviously offer it to all employees. So you probably need to work with your employers to see whether A, they're applicable, and B, whether you're actually applicable to go on JobKeeper. If you are and they are going on JobKeeper, then they must offer it to you and they must pay you the $1,500 per fortnight. Okay, so obviously people are going through the process at the moment. There's a couple of things you can do if you mess up your JobKeeper application. Contact the ATO, they'll get rectified. You can, accounting system, if you're a sole trader, you don't need to really worry about that. Though you will have to report in a separate way. And those that are using a manual system can use a paper report or us as your tax agent to assist. Okay, basically you're going to log on to the business portal to do your application form. You're just going to fill out the bit that says you're only a sole trader and you've only got one employee. And you're going to say that you've passed the test. It's a legal document, so make sure that you, if they come back on you, you've got the evidence to show that you've passed the test. You don't have to notify yourself that you've actually passed it. You just have to wait and the money will come back into the bank. Okay, so if you're an employee, obviously the employer will let you know that you're eligible and you'll fill out a nomination form and then that will go back to the employer. And then obviously they will just continue paying the $1,500 and then in a couple of weeks' time they'll get reimbursed for your money. Okay. The JobKeeper payments from the ATO assessable income for the business? In your case, yes, or in any business. And in your case, it goes nowhere because you're a sole trader, so it just goes in as additional income. And if you're an employee, obviously it's just like a wage to you, and you'll have to pay tax on that money. Okay, so we just made a couple of things here. If your business is receiving the $1,500 per fortnight of registered nomination, you don't need to pass $1,500 on. So you can just in your business bank account if you don't want to. You don't need to register for STP. JobKeeper becomes a sustainable income for your business, so sole traders, trusts and partnerships. And unlike an employee arrangement, there's no wage that needs to be satisfied, but there is the other conditions. So we've just got to make sure that we satisfy those other conditions. If you're an employee, it's really up to your employer to decide whether JobKeeper is applicable to their business. Okay, if you have a subcontractor or you're a subcontractor for a business, you may meet the eligible employee test, but probably in most cases, you've got your own ABN and you would apply as a sole trader in most cases. But you've got to be careful. Maybe you should be an employee, and that's probably a discussion down the track you will need to have with your with the person you're working for. If you've got several, then you're disregarded as a sole trader. Okay, so obviously we've got those that just started their business. So we've got the alternative decline test, and that's we'll have to demonstrate a decline in sales as a result of COVID-19. See us if that's you, because we can certainly help you there. Employees, is it true that normally than 1,500 they're effectively getting a pay rise? That's correct. So there's been a bit of confusion. The employer must pay the $1,500 during the JobKeeper period. So they must not keep the additional money. So if you're on $1,000, they must pay you the full $1,500. The employee is not obligated in this case to work more than the hours that they're paid for. So be careful here that your employer doesn't fall foul of the Fair Work Australia Act. Okay, JobKeeper and other work. It appears possible that you can seek other casual employment while on JobKeeper, provided it's not impacting on your main employment. If you've been asked to stand down, you may need to come back and complete work up to the value of $1,500. There's no minimum or maximum amount for casual employment. However, if it looks like the new employment that you're doing while the old employment is not working, looks like a full-time role, then obviously you shouldn't be getting JobKeeper. And then casual cannot receive more than one JobKeeper from employees. Oh, well, that's anyone. You can only really receive JobKeeper once. Could I claim JobKeeper and payment and supporting apprentice? So if you, this is really not applicable for sole traders, but you might have an apprentice there that you employ. They should be getting the apprentice subsidy through the government. Therefore, you shouldn't be getting JobKeeper for that particular person. And it's the same if you're an apprentice. You should be getting paid your wage, and your employer will be claiming the apprentice job subsidy. Okay. Husband and wife, both run a business in the same household but different ABNs. They can both claim the JobKeeper. If mum is not an employer of the business and dad is not an employer of his business, they will claim JobKeeper payments in relation to their own business themselves. We do have a couple where we can get the trust, where the trusting employs the husband and the wife, or vice versa, and the other person is the beneficiary in the trust. So we'll be able to get two people there if it's legitimately the person is actually employed by the trust. It all comes back to legitimately, and it's the same in your case. If you're running a business, you must have an ABN to be able to claim the JobKeeper, and you must show that you've actually been trading. So great to have an ABN and you haven't used it for 2 years. Don't think that you're going to get JobKeeper. Of course, the tax office will do some matching on that case. Okay, satisfying the JobKeeper and wages in the test month. If it decides to register in April and only wants to receive JobKeeper payments from the 15th of May, the OTR will look to see if they've received the $1,500 per fortnight or just from the time they registered. So in that case, the question is, if you're an employee, your employer has to pay you $1,500 per fortnight in the period that they wish you to be registered. For sole traders and partnerships and companies that aren't using this employer test and using the business participation test, there's no obligations, but they still have to meet the turnover test. Okay, that's a pretty quick webinar today, just for sole traders and for trusts. Obviously, there is some questions that people will have. Come and call us up, 9597 9966. Go to our website at Gartley Advisory. We have a website there. We have a Facebook page. You can ring us up and make a booking on Zoom. I have staff of about 7 or 8 people here. We can certainly help you out. We help lots of small businesses in Melbourne and in country and some up in Queensland. So by any means, if you need help, we're here to help our staff. It's a tough time out there. Wishing everyone a great weekend. Stay safe, stay at home, and hopefully your business is working towards getting back to